Before we get started, I do want to mention we do have another celebrity in the audience, our dialogue and casting director, Wes Gleason. He is full on, he's got the old West thing going. He needs guns.
Look how it looks good. I see how it looks good. Hipster West. The hipster Superman.
A lot of you people won't know the story, but we did this story a long time back, 11 years ago. We did Superman Doomsday. This guy in the audience who insisted we do it right this time, do the whole story. His name is Jeff Brown. He's one of the heads of Warner Brothers. Jeff for this and for forcing these guys to make it right. And speaking of that, Mr. Tucker, Mr. Liu, how did you guys, what was your plan when Jeff was forcing us into this?
After we stopped crying?
Yes.
Well, the plan was we had more real estate to play with this movie than they had with Doomsday. So we knew we had to break it up, and we had time to show him dying, and then we had time to show what it meant to the world and to really play it out. So having the extra time made a lot of choices easier. We didn't have to cut as much. We got to introduce the three Supermen that is probably the characters that people miss the most in Doomsday. And we got to tell a different, not exactly the original story from the 90s, but a better approximation of it, and just recreate the feeling people had when they originally read those stories about Superman dying.
Tim and Jim. Yeah, you two, the guys that wrote it in. That's it, you guys. Did you discuss any of it with Dan Jurgens or any of the original comics writers? And if not, how did you go about dissecting the story to do it the way you want?
Well, we had a secret weapon. We had our own Eradicator. We had our own Eradicator in the form of Mike Carlin, who was the comics fans know in crafting the original story for the comics when Tim was a little boy and I was a grown man.
Now you guys are reversed.
Yeah. It's like the picture of Dorian Gray.
I mean, we just have amazing partners with DC and with Warner Brothers. I mean, it was incredible fun working with Mike and the whole team.
All right. Phil? What was your greatest challenge in translating these designs for film?
I think, the challenge a lot of times is we're up against, it's schedule, our timeline can be tight. These are pretty massive and sort of epic undertakings, but because it was broken up into two parts, it was easier to sort of break it down in sort of a scheduled way. But as far as like the design aspect, really fun diving into and introducing characters into our continuity that we hadn't gotten to do yet. Expand the Superman mythos and show the theme of what is a world like without Superman, and how the different interpretations of what Superman is to all these different people. You get to see that the personality come out in the four new heroes. Challenge-wise, I think, and the character that I had probably the most fun with, because it required the most nuance and texture, was Cyborg Superman, because he has this really incredible arc. He's a villain, but you have to have him be able to play for sympathetic in certain contexts, and he has to have this duality in the narrative. I mean, he's literally a dude who's like half monster, half man, but he has a really compelling sort of motivation, and you have to be able to disguise the monster lurking inside of him, even though it's right on the surface. I mean, you see that half metallic skeleton face, and that could have been really clumsy depending on how we handled it. So you have to lay out sort of a a blueprint for the animators to be able to follow, to be able to make this character emote properly in the proper context. So you see him do the range. I mean, I really, you really feel that there's some humanity there. But then when he goes, all crazy, he's really scary and he's terrifying. And so creating a template, a design template that can have that much range of emotion and not come off clumsy or just be too much of a monster the entire time. I think that's what made that character the most challenging and the most compelling in terms of tackling a design challenge.
Actors, in front row. You guys, how many of you actually had a familiarity with the story going in? And if not, how did that affect you or not affect you?
Well, this run of the comic was the comic of like my generation. Death of Superman and then Reign of the Superman was epic. The fact that I'm sitting up here, a part of this is still settling in. But it was so rich in me. It was like Bibbo in particular, as kind of a big dopey guy myself. As a big dopey kid, I really related to that character. So just seeing it come to life with the scripts that these guys put together under like really excellent direction and guidance, it was the old familiar. It was like saying hello to an old friend, and then seeing it live here is amazing. So, yes, I was familiar with the comic.
I was familiar with it. I'll tell you though, after Death of Superman and how well it was received, I have to say, this is a terrible thing to admit, but I'm always checking my Rotten Tomatoes score. Tomato meter is something I do incessantly. And I've been acting for a long time. As long as like Baby Gary was picking up his first comic. And to date, the highest scoring film I've ever worked on is Death of Superman. Wow. And it's like such an honor, but mostly it's really helped my tomato meter.
Sorry to interrupt. What's the tomato meter for the Goonies? I just
it was very high. Honestly, don't quote me on this. Death of Superman is higher than Stand By Me.
wow. Stand By Me.
Yeah.
It's because Kuzak never gets his Yankee hat back.
Right. So I have a new. I think Death of Superman was a little scary, tackling that sort of sacred story, and I mean it's probably not right, but I have a real confidence going into this one, and I think it showed. I think it showed tonight. I mean, everyone here does such a great job, and I think DC animation is really. Is the best, really. I mean, it's really, and sort of propelling a lot of other superhero storylines that are out there as well. I think it's influencing a lot, and it's such an honor to be here for all of us.
Anything else?
I had no idea what was going on. I read the comic. I was trying to keep up with all the Supermans. And I was just waiting for Batman to come out.
Batman, you did have that great rodeo.
Yeah,
I did.
Any LA natives can appreciate it.
How do you pronounce R-O-D-E?
It's rodeo.
They're always right. If Batman says it's rodeo, it's rodeo.
He was sitting next to me and he kept saying, he goes, there's an awful lot of Supermen in this one. I'm new to the rodeo here, and I was not a comic book geek, but I was president of the band in high school, if that is a card carrying. But I was saying to some of the people we were talking to the press earlier, Jim and Tim, if it's not like any actor, if it's not on the page, you can do whatever you want, but it's not going to be there. And it's on the page script-wise. And so that was really a great comfort as an actor. And that, Wes was there as my eyes and ears with James and helping me steer stuff, because I'd never done any animation like this before. It's my first time out. And, as Phil had said, trying to catch a duality between his animation of, having Hank be there and quite justifiably pissed off at Superman, his wife is dead. But yet, there's something else going on there. Although I don't know why I was surprised, and yet I'm surprised. I'm like, oh, the gray hair character is me. That's cool. So even in animation, I'm on the wrong side of 50. Is that
The irony. They do some super cool stuff. I mean, I can really tell here with the speakers, and it's so fun to see it with a group of people, because normally, with downloads, you're watching them at home, But they do a great job of mixing Hank's voice with Superman's voice, and you just really, it's subtle. It's subtle. It's amazing how the story is told through just subtleties like that. It's really, it's great. It's really fun to watch.
Well, some of you, none of you recorded together on this, including you and your wife.
Did we not record together, my wife and I? Who played Lois Lane?
You did a little fun stuff in part 1, not part 2.
Oh, okay, I thought maybe some of our sessions, I get confused between, there were so many sessions. I do want to apologize for my parents who were whispering, "That's Rebecca!"
Do you guys rehearse it together at all?
We actually do a little bit. Fully clothed, don't get weird about it. It's a real kinky one. We do, it's fun because you don't get that, you don't get to do that when you're recording separately, so it's sort of fun to hear it. We're like, wait a minute, we should run this together. We're both recording this, and we're in the same scene, so we do it, and it's fun, and I think you can sort of tell. I think our relationship really worked.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, James was just saying how it's a Lois movie too. She's such a.
Oh, somebody asked me earlier on the line, they said what was my favorite line from it, because I had seen it a couple of months back. In the reviewing, clearly my favorite line is saying to Lois Lane, "I'm going to tear you from limb to limb." I was like, oh, I say that. That's rather rude. All right.
Why do you think this story endures? It still stands the test. I'm putting it to the filmmakers, because these guys have just had their say.
Well, the biggest thing you can do to Superman is kill him. So, and he's that's the big Superman story. There's lots of Superman stories, but that's the big one. That's the one that people who don't read comics, people off the street who only have a casual knowledge of Superman goes, wow. That, that's you hear that and you write your own story in your head about what could that be. It makes you interested and intrigued, so someone will probably kill him again in a few months.
Not as good.
No.
As good as you killed him.
I think we had 2 shots before we did, and we nailed it.
When I was a kid, I read Batman comics. I didn't read Superman comics for a long time. And then they killed Superman, and the first time I ever picked up Superman comics was for Reign of the Superman. And I think the reason that story endures is because the death of Superman is, it feels like it ended. It's the death of something. And Reign of the Superman felt like something big and exciting and new was starting. And I wanted on board, and I think that's what that sense of hope and excitement and anticipation is central to what Superman has always been for us. And that's why I think Reign of the Superman, which doesn't really have, necessarily as much Superman for a Superman movie, is one of the most Superman stories that there is.
Well, yeah, I like the theme too of the way the Superman sort of mantle is interpreted by these different personalities. I think there's something really interesting about that aspect of it, the way they try to take his place or be a substitute, and you see various ways that can go wrong. You see how it's not just about the power, but it's about the man and the choices that he makes. And you see kind of, there's so many ways you can explore that narrative, and I think that's one of the most compelling things about it is the iterative aspect, the way that these different characters interpret what the Superman role is.
And all the characters too. Like James very early on put us just with a guiding light and said, how does all of this affect everyone and all of Metropolis, all of the world? We need to see what it's doing to everybody. That Superman is gone and that there's all this confusion, all of this new.
How do you fill that void?
Well, truth be told,
Sam forced me into that. He really wouldn't let it go.
It doesn't sound like a Sam no.
Yeah, it's true. We let it go, and then Sam came in and whipped us back to the show.
But going off of kind of what everybody's been saying, I mean, there's so many, I think, good elements to it. There's the Superman element, obviously, which you guys have talked about, but the other part is like what you're getting to, Tim. I think is just like, what do you do when you lose that person? And then where do people go? Who do they follow? Or who do they listen to? Do they, do they look for like quick fixes? You know what I mean? Do they hold fast to their beliefs? Or these all things are sort of tested in a certain kind of way because you have four individuals that are sort of offering different things. Theoretically,
Right.
and the decisions that they make, but also sort of, outside of that broad kind of thing too. It's like, the world goes into chaos, because again, he's usually the person that is there to sort of help everybody or fix things, the big things, and what happens when that's not there, and again, when Force Supermans show up, it's like the people are. They're looking for something to.
And they're willing to give up their humanity in order to feel safe again.
Right. And the movie is also a mystery, and it's a mystery that Lois is solving. Like, are any of these guys Superman? And some of you are comic book fans, so you know the answer, but you have to treat the story like we don't know the answer. And even having worked on the story and read it so many years ago, I'm curious if there are people in the audience who didn't know the story. Is there a moment where you think that Cyborg Superman is Superman? I mean, there's so much sympathy for him in that scene on the balcony. Is anybody in that camp where they were like, gosh, maybe it's him?
Or are you really jaded?
Then we wrote it just for you.
Obviously, West East don't talk at home. What are you working on, honey?
But it's sort of like Frankenstein. You know, the Frankenstein's monster is horrible, but you feel sympathy for him. So all the Superman pretenders, he comes out and he's kind of horrified, and you think, but he's so noble that for a minute, maybe this is him,
Tim and I have talked about that sequence too, when the hall in passing, how delicate that sequence is. And I remember even reading the script, being concerned, and this is a credit to Phil and to Jerry. I was like, if this monster is saying this, if he looks stupid, scary, it's going to take you out of the moment. How do you sort of come up with that mix of that this person saying this is genuine, Because the Frankenstein thing, if Frankenstein's trying to be tender, he's the person that you're just going to be like, oh, that's a monster.
You can't be focused solely on the fact that it's
Well,
monstrosity. It has to have a human component.
And part of it was the play on the Chris Reeve.
Right,
Yeah.
that classic scene,
But another component, just to throw it out there, is the music Freddie did for that really sells it.
That sequence
Sort of did that, and
Yeah.
Jerry, I remember when we were in the recording booth, him playing nobleness versus sort of like, not dark, sinister, but also sort of like, no, really, pleading, versus like, I'm a noble person and I'm trying to, appeal to your emotion, not in sort of a love kind of way, but in sort of a higher sort of calling kind of a way. I kind of felt like that distinction, as small as it is, whatever, sort of allows that scene to be believable.
Yeah, and if you don't buy that scene, then the whole movie kind of tanks too. Yeah. But I mean, even with all the event, like I thought the fight scenes. I mean, these guys always turn it up to 11 when it comes to fight choreography. But and this movie's no different. But I think even with all that amazing action, like that is the hook for me. That was my favorite scene. That and the rodeo one.
I like Lois and Wonder Woman at
Oh yeah, that was good.
It's the greatest.
This movie has some of the best acting that I've seen in a Superman movie, and I don't just mean the voice acting, although it's extraordinary.
The
But I think
animation.
the animation, I think it all came together. I think there was just this bubble of trust that happened with everyone, and we were very
A
fortunate.
little bit of luck too.
And I hate to compliment an actor who's not here because it doesn't
What's
gain
Daniel
anything.
Craig, yeah.
But Lex Luthor, Brain's Lex
Oh, yeah.
Luthor,
Yeah,
is
that's
like
awesome.
everything out of his mouth is funny, and he's so evil, but I tend to agree with everything he says. I mean, he's so charming. Well, he's got a point. I like him.
All right, we got about 12 minutes. You guys have any questions? All right, wait, and someone will bring you a microphone after I name, your favorite character sitting on stage, and any questions.
Hi, my name is Cameron, and yeah, my favorite character is Batman, but it's a Superman movie. My question's for the director on the Metallo versus Cyborg Superman reference. I really like that in there. Was there anything else you wanted to add in the film but couldn't due to time or other reasons? Like something small like that?
I mean, this, I guess the quick answer is kind of not really. There was so much plot in this that it was, it was a rodeo, trying to wrangle just the plot to have it sort of, drive forward and, give all the Supermen their moments, so we don't get crucified by the fans. Obviously, some of them are more important than the others, but again, I think every one of them we gave them a moment for, hopefully, if you're a fan of people like it.
Hi.
All right, next.
Hi, my name is Daisuke. I guess I have a question. This is kind of, I initially thought it was just going to be for Sam and Tim, but I guess also Jerry and Jason, if you guys, be so kind to oblige. First off, I just want to say how I think everybody in the audience would agree that this is one of the best just modern takes on Superman, just whether it comes to acting or the writing or the directing, everything. And I think
We would agree.
but you guys knocked out, Death of Superman, because, I was at Comic-Con and I saw Doomsday and I was like, meh. But then this came out and I was like, yes.
Really? You were like,
but with Brain and, I'm sorry, with Comic-Con, I was talking about the one from like a decade ago. I apologize.
The one our old boss did.
Yes. That was just fine. But what I want to say, what I guess I want to ask is, with knocking this out of the park, is there anything that you guys want to re-explore in another storyline that may have not gone so well in the past, or something that resonates with anyone of you guys? You guys want to kind of really resonate and you want to work on?
yeah, James.
I want to redo our whole run. Reboot.
This is my first one, so I get it easy.
Tim's, batting 1,000.
I think you asked a question.
Usually we get it right.
Angry.
Well, the other thing is if you go to DC Universe, which is some kind of app, you will find that there are thousands and thousands of stories that you may or may not remember, and all of them can be adapted into awesome movies written and directed by us.
Everybody go to DC Universe for chill.
$7.99 a month. I don't know.
Who's that?
Hello, my name is Callie, and I'm just really okay. So I just want to know this because this is something that I kind of just like looked at my mom and I was like, wait, did this actually happen at the ending? Did the cyborg people die? Because I need to know this.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to ruin your night.
They show us more.
That's really poorly. But you know what? Look, the fact that there are consequences.
Next time, don't
Yeah.
sign up for that kind of thing. Maybe think twice.
There's a moral there.
Okay, excellent.
The third movie is going to be called Death of Eric.
There are consequences.
How about way in the back there? Yep, yeah.
Yeah. My name is David, and my favorite character is Green Lantern, Hal Jordan for life. Anyways, I was just curious because I know like there was like a post-credit scene, and I was just curious, what's the next one after that? If you actually can speak on that right now.
What makes you think we did another one?
No, we did. Just assumptions.
What's announced?
It's been announced though, right?
We have only announced what's coming out this year, so if it isn't,
You mean the next movie? Just the next movie?
I think he means the movie that connects Lex
Oh.
at the end during the Justice League.
Well, we're not talking about that.
Yeah.
It may have just been a fun bit.
But what we do have coming, yeah, I don't know if you guys know or not, but the next film is Justice League versus Fatal 5, and then summertime, that'll be spring, summertime will be Batman Hush. Later on in the year we'll have Wonder Woman Bloodlines. They don't know what it's about, they don't know what it's but I like that, because if you like this, we can see what's next. Who's next? Sure, give it to Thomas.
Hi.
Hey,
So much for introducing myself. This one goes out to James and Sam. Which do you find more challenging, producing or directing?
It's all the same. Say that. Sam still directs and produces, so he's got a way harder job. Directing is
Plus Sam,
like herding cats.
Plus Sam carries the
With
world.
bad
on-
attitudes.
Sam carries the world on his shoulders too, right? Because you guys didn't know. It's always, but yeah, directing is a challenge, right? But
I think directing, just because you are in the trenches, you know, and you have to shoot the bullets.
He has to talk to people.
When you're producing, you sort of come up with the ideas, which is hard, I'm finding, you know. And James, I can't imagine just how quickly these ideas come, because he has to do so many movies, you know.
I'm off my meds.
Yeah. Right. So again, they're different, you know, but one of them is obviously like.
That's what you do.
Like, what, okay, well, you know, I mean, I can't imagine that you go into a meeting where like, okay, well, you've got the next movie, what do you want to do? And then you go like,
yeah, he comes up with the idea and he goes, Sam will do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again,
Picking up crap that I don't have to execute. That's all producers do. It's easy.
But directing, especially these, is very difficult because it's, you know, somebody had, you know, a friend, peer of mine, had said like comedy or action adventure is like architecture. You know, it's like you have to be accountable for like how many screws you have, where the distance between the toilet and the bathtub is, and all these little measurements and you know, where things tie and all that kind of stuff. So it's a lot of sort of, you know, looking at the blueprint that's there, a lot of sort of going like, making decisions of like, I think we can build this better, you know, or different, again, like, I can't draw everything, so I have to work with other people. And so, so there's a lot of notes, there's a lot of sort of like revisiting things, that type of stuff, you know. So I think just time-wise, I think directing is very, there's just a lot of steps, you know. Yeah.
All right, thanks, Thomas. How about the lady right down here in glasses and a coat on?
Hi, I'm Nandini, and I was wondering if you could be a hero or a villain, what would you choose? Anybody? Everybody.
I would be Perry White. I thought he really popped in the beginning of this movie.
I'd like to see Tony Todd as a hero.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I'm a Green Lantern fan too.
And I'm a Candyman fan too.
okay. Sorry, I like just a little moving happens.
By the way, Becky and Eric are my sister and her husband, and so I'm gonna have a lot of splendid.
Oh, we killed him.
A little bit.
Anybody else? Anybody got anything?
I don't think, Phil referred to Cyborg Superman as a villain, and at one point I never thought of him like that. You know?
Real villains never think that.
Well, in that case, I want to see the backstory for Hank.
All right. Next, sure, pass it on down over there.
All right. Hi, I'm Nick. This question is for everyone. What was one of the greatest moments during the process of this film, and what was one of the funniest?
We recorded this, speaking for, I know everybody had different sessions, but it was recorded over a year ago. So you're thinking about it after you lay it down 2 years ago. You lay it down, you always think about something else you could have done, some other reflection. Actors are crazy that way. And then they bring us back for additional ADR work, which is where we sweep things off, and you get to finally see the images come to life. And you say, oh my God, this is what I'm part of creating. I mean, we had a very safe space between Gary and Wes, thinking of being there. They had some of the best productions I've ever gotten in a voiceover session, which is to keep them intellectual. It's fine. We don't need to keep it dark, just keep them playful and everything. And I will always remember that and I constantly try to do that. So thank you. And just, the safe space to create is created. I grew up a DC fan, so believe it or not, I'm over the moon just being part of it. It continues to chip away, and glad to add Darkseid to the new resume. Thank you guys for showing up.
Yeah. When we all came in, it was awesome. When we first saw like the fight scenes, even in Death of Superman, the Doomsday fight scenes, just the epic scale of it, doing the efforts, growing some bones. Like when you actually have from outer space impact to see, that's different than reading, falls to earth and pounds. But when you see it, it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
We got time for one more question, unless somebody out here has an answer that continues. Nope. All right. Somebody with a hat on with his hand way up there. There we go.
I'm Peter. I probably don't need a microphone. I heard Green Lantern mentioned. Have you guys considered there was a Green Lantern movie a couple years ago, and my problem with that movie was they tried to cram too much in one movie. Have you guys considered revisiting that as an animated movie?
Yes.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
If there had been some kind of Green Lantern animated series, maybe we could.
Yes, it was. Blackest Night. Yes.
Did someone say something about Gladys Knight?
Blackest Night is Hal Jordan.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, wow.
He's off his bed. He's off his bed.
All right. Well, I think we've come to the end of our evening. You've had as much fun as we have. Out in the lobby, I need Cameron, Nick, Callie, David, and Thomas to meet me out there. I got a little something for you, all right? In the meantime, I want you to say thank you to Jim Sheridan. We'll see you again.